It's been a wild offseason thus far, and one of the highlights that everybody's anticipating within the next few weeks is the NFL draft. And it's going to be an exciting and crazy one because there's so many different possibilities. Will there be a run on quarterbacks? Will there be any defensive players taken in the top 10? We don't know. You don't know, but I do. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because today in this video, we're going to do a mock draft. Yes, this is my first mock draft. I know it seems kind of late, but I'm not a huge fan of mock drafts for myself because it's so much speculation and everybody tends to be an expert when we're doing the draft stuff, which means that nobody knows anything, So that's why we're going to have a little bit fun today. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen with my mock draft. I'm going to give you the top 10 picks in this upcoming draft. But before we get into that, I got to introduce myself. My name is Aaron Ducker here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. And I start off every video by saying, what up, though? In this channel on Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk, I give you a recap and analysis of the NFL. Show a little extra love to my Carolina Panthers. So if you want to see more videos and stay up to date, you got to hit the subscribe button below, man, and hit the bell icon. That way you get a notification every time I drop a video, because if you don't hit the notification button, you may not get notified when I drop videos. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up, because it doesn't cost you a thing and it really helps me in the algorithm. But I want to encourage you guys to make sure you watch the whole video, because this is my first mock draft and I want to get you guys feedback on what you think about my top 10. Am I way off base, or am I pretty spot on what you believe? Do I make any good, fair points? Or do I just need to crumble up my piece of paper, throw it away, and start all over again? So make sure you guys watch the whole thing. Give me your feedback below in the comments. So I think why people have so much fun with mock drafts is because with the new technology, with the draft network, their mock draft machine, you can pretty much automate every team's picks and pick for your team. You can pick for every team in the NFL for all 7 rounds if you want to, out of the whole draft class pool. But today, I'm going to pick for that top 10, and that's exactly what I'm going to use, the draft network. So let's go ahead and get into the booth. All right, party people. So let's go ahead and get into it, man, because the first overall pick, I think this is pretty much a no-brainer with the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, party people. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for the first overall pick in the 2021 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawerence, quarterback out of Clemson, South Carolina. Now, this is pretty much a no-brainer. We've known this for a while, and I've talked about this and been on record before, that he's not a flawless prospect. He has some down games, but he's such a generational talent when it comes to size, arm strength, touch, deep ball accuracy, mobility, and just the whole package. He made some comments about winning Super Bowls doesn't really mean anything to him. Had these comments been made by other types of quarterbacks, if you know what I'm saying, it may be a bigger deal, because this is the type of thing that a guy like Cam Newton said he wants to be an entertainer and an icon, and the media just lost it. Nevertheless, I think Trevor Lawerence is got a good head on his shoulders. I think he'll be good in this league for a long time. He's not flawless by any means. Will he be the best quarterback in this class? I think that can be debatable down the line. I don't think it's as clear cut as it seems when it comes to the pre-draft process, but it's almost a no-brainer to take this guy number 1 overall. We've known he was going to be the number 1 overall pick probably since he came out of high school. It was just a formality of who was going to be the worst team to get that first pick. So Trevor Lawerence is the number 1 pick. For the number 2 pick, I know a lot of mock drafts have the Jets taking the quarterback, especially after they traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers, and I do think that's the case. However, I've been big on this guy the whole time throughout the process. I know there's been some movement because of the hype and the glamour picks is going around. But I got to put Justin Fields as the number 2 quarterback off the board going to the Jets. I just think that those first 2 pro days were just flawless. I think Zach Wilson had a good pro day. However, I think Justin Fields has always been the second best quarterback in this draft class, could easily be the next best quarterback. I think the floor for Justin Fields is Dak Prescott. The ceiling could be a Russell Wilson type of guy, depending on if he can stay healthy. But I just really love Justin Fields' game. I know he has the longer baseball release, but he throws such pretty passes, a good catchable passes. He can make all the throws. He can move on the run. He can run the ball for you, run in his own read. This guy can do it all. A lot of people think Zach Wilson will go here, but I definitely like Justin Fields here for the New York Jets. Number 3 overall, we're going with the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers did trade up. We remember they traded up with the Miami Dolphins. They gave up a hefty package. They're keeping their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. They said that they're going to probably pick a quarterback. You don't trade up and make a move like this without taking a quarterback. And a lot of people connecting to Mac Jones, but I think that's mainly because they think there's a debate between Justin Fields and Mac Jones. To me, if Zach Wilson is on the board versus Mac Jones, you do not miss a layup. This is a layup. I think they would be ecstatic. Kyle Shanahan would be ecstatic. John Lynch would be ecstatic to get a guy like Zach Wilson who can move around, make plays, is creative on the run, can create on the go. He gives a little bit more of the it factor than Jimmy G. He'll probably start on the bench for a few games for Jimmy Garoppolo, but Zach Wilson will come in down the line, and I think he'll be great in the system with the team that went to the Super Bowl not too long ago, and they're going to get their defense back healthy. Maybe they're going to need some receiver weapons, but this is a deep receiver draft. Of course, they have Deebo Samuel still there and George Kittle. And the running game is always going to be awesome, but I think Zach Wilson seems to be the no-brainer here for number 3. Number 4, the Atlanta Falcons, the most interesting slot in this draft. I don't like to speculate with trades when I do my mock drafts. I'll probably do a different version that has some trades that I expect to happen. But in this mock draft, I'm going to do only guys staying put. So the Atlanta Falcons, a lot of people think they're going to take a quarterback because of Matt Ryan and the new regime wants to get rid of Matt Ryan, get a new guy in there. But they moved so much money around to be able to get under their salary cap this year for COVID that Matt Ryan's dead cap money on the books is atrocious. And the reason why you draft these young quarterbacks is to get them in early, especially when you're drafting them this high. And they don't get that benefit of saving that money. And so they really got to go somewhere else. Where do they go? To me, they do need help on defense bad, but there's not enough good defensive players to draft them this high. So to me, you got to take the best player available. Even though they have Hayden Hurst still only has 1 year left on his contract, and he's definitely not a genetic freak like Kyle Pitts is. So I'm going with Kyle Pitts here, the tight end out of the University of Florida for the Atlanta Falcons. Moving on to the number 5 pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati, they have their team needs listed on here as wide receiver and offensive tackle. They don't need receiver that bad. They have Tyler Boyd. They have T. Higgins from last year. And I think Joe Burrow, he's been petitioning for his buddy Jamar Chase, trying to get those weapons out there. They want to surround their best quarterback with weapons. Of course, he wants to campaign for his teammate Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, last time we saw him, he gave 4 touchdowns against Clemson and the Natty after taking last year off because of COVID and sitting out. But I don't think that's it. You know, Joe Burrow got beat up. He took a beating last year. He even tore 2 ligaments in his knee. They would be stupid to go draft a quarterback draft a wide receiver because Jamar Chase can't block anybody, and he's not going to be able to give Joe Burrow more time in the pocket to hit him. So the thing for me is they got to draft Penei Sewell. They're going to get a tackle that could probably swing left and right that can protect this guy's blind side for forever. You know what I'm saying? And you pretty much get your young quarterback, get your young tackle. You can get receivers later in this draft. It's a deep draft class wide receiver. It's a deep draft class for offensive line too, but you got to take the best lineman on the board there to protect your investment. The number 1 overall pick, Joe Burrow from last year. You got to take Penei Sewell. So number 6, coming to the Miami Dolphins, who made the trade to this position after trading back. You know, so they went out of the top 10 after trading with the 49ers, but traded back in to get back in here with the Eagles. And they drafted their quarterback last year with Tua Tagovailoa. Now, there was some speculation that they may go quarterback had they stayed at 3. They put all that to bed and moved back. You can't give up on a quarterback that you drafted that high, that quick. But you do have to give him an ample opportunity to fail if he's going to fail. You don't give up on him after a year. You want to make sure that you're wrong about the pick. So you want to make sure you put everything around him that you can. So, to me, they're going to draft the best wide receiver in this draft. I don't think it's not even close. It's Jamar Chase. He has the whole package. He can go deep. He's creative after the catch. He has great size. We saw what Justin Jefferson did as a rookie. And to me, Justin Jefferson wasn't nearly as good as Jamar Chase. No slight to Justin Jefferson, but Jamar Chase was head over heels better in my opinion. And to say that for Justin Jefferson to be a Rookie of the Year finalist, to be able to get a guy like Jamar Chase here for Tua, it's a no-brainer, man. It's a layup. Don't miss any layups. Jamar Chase going to the Miami Dolphins. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. Another candidate for probably a trade after trading Matt Stafford to the Rams and getting Jared Goff. Where do they go? The team needs on here a wide receiver, corner, and tackle. They have a lot of options here, but I think those positions you can get later in this draft board. So this would be a good chance for the Lions to probably move back, especially for if a team likes Trey Lance or Mac Jones and wants to get into that top 10 to get it. Maybe the Broncos, maybe the Eagles if they feel froggy. Maybe the Patriots move up and do something like that because they definitely could use a quarterback to take over the reins after Tom Brady left and to take the torch from Cam Newton. But to me, I think they go wide receiver. Give Jared Goff some weapons. They're starting off anew with their new coach and new system. I think they're going to go wide receiver. And to me, The wide receiver they're gonna get somebody dynamic that you don't have to do a lot for. You just put the ball in this guy's hands, and it's Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, I know he's coming off the leg injury, but this guy is lightning fast. He can return kicks. He can catch deep. He can catch screens. He can go across the middle. He can run the drag routes. This guy is the total package. He's a walking bucket, a walking touchdown, man. So I think they put Jalen Waddle to give a target to Jared Goff. Moving on to the number 8 pick, my team, my squad, the Carolina Panthers. What do they do at number 8? They just made that trade for Sam Darnold. A lot of people are speculating if Justin Fields is here, do they go ahead and get Justin Fields? I think so if that happens, but I don't see Justin Fields lasting that long. A lot of people say take Pitts or Sewell. I don't see them lasting that long either, as you can see by my mock draft. So what do? They're really in a tough position. They obviously need offensive line help. If you're going to get Sam Darnold, you want, like I said, like about Tua. You got to put the help around him to make sure that if you're going to make this move, if you want to back on the upside and making everything better around him, you got to give him protection and you got to give him weapons. They already have decent weapons. They've gotten Dan Arnold, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, David Moore from Seattle this year in free agency. Now they just need protection. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is coming back, the ultimate weapon at the backfield. Let's go and get some offensive linemen. The best one remaining on the board is Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater can play anywhere up the offensive line, from tackle to tackle. I haven't heard if he can play center or not, but they say he can play guard. So this guy, you can put him anywhere, and the Panthers do have a lot of holes. They need that left tackle filled, and they need both guards and probably a center for the future in general. But Rashawn Slater seems to be a no-brainer if the Panthers do not trade out of position. I would not be opposed from the Panthers trading back and taking a corner, but if you're going to be this high, go ahead and get Slater now. Or if you want to trade back, get more picks, go ahead and get a quality offensive lineman then too. You can do that, like a Christian Darrisaw, or if you want to trade back and take a J.C. Horn or a Patrick Surtain, if he's still there, if you want to trade back, depending on who you trade with. So there's a lot of options for the Carolina Panthers, but worst case scenario, if they don't trade, you take a lineman that's pretty much a no-brainer. It seems to be a lock for a pro that may be a better pro than Penei Sewell because he can play multiple positions, but nevertheless, this is the guy that you're going to go with, Rashawn Slater. Moving on to the number 9 pick, the Denver Broncos. What do? Do they try to trade up later on? Do they take Trey Lance and compete with Drew Lock? Some people think that Drew Lock may not be it, but they have other positions that they could need. They can use corner. They can use linebacker. They can use some offensive line help for Drew Lock to make sure everything is steady. But to me, when you have an athletic guy with a big arm that's very raw, you got to bring in a guy like Trey Lance. And I like Trey Lance. I think he gets something exciting in Denver. You know, they swung and missed on quarterback multiple times in multiple drafts. But John Elway's not calling the shots anymore, so you can easily see Trey Lance drafted here with the Broncos. Now, if the Broncos make a trade for somebody like Teddy Bridgewater, all this is off the board because I think you get somebody like Teddy Bridgewater in there and you use him to push Drew Lock, and maybe he steadies the ship until you figure out what you want to do for the future, or he can just be a mentor for Drew Lock to make sure he gets his mind right out there. Nevertheless, I got them taking quarterback here, or they're going to trade back or trade up, depending on what they want to do. There's a lot of options for everybody in this top 10. That's why I think this draft could be exciting. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, drafted here at the number 10 slot. There's a lot of speculation about what they could do themselves. Do they draft some, did they go D-line, but this may be too high? Do they go with the guy like Patrick Surtain at corner or J.C. Horn, or do they go another wide receiver to give the Dak Prescott? I doubt it. There's a lot of different positions because you have guys like Micah Parsons or Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC or Jalen Phillips here that's still on the board, man. So what do you do? Because they need some defensive help because they were horrible last year. But I think that's because of the system that we're in. They're going to be going back to the 4-3 under Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn loves his corners. He loves the polished corners, the disciplined corners, the guys that he had in Seattle. Those guys like Richard Sherman, of course, and those that are steady, that are long, that have good size. And I think Patrick Surtain is that guy to put at corner because they lost Byron Jones to Miami, and they're going to need a guy like Patrick Surtain to come and be steady. He's a good technician. He's a player's son and a coach's son from school. He's coming from DBU, which is Alabama. This guy will be ready to start in day one and be a solid pro. I think the floor for him is very high. The ceiling may not be as high because of his lack of ball skills, and sometimes he doesn't look back for the ball when it's in the air. However, I still think he will be a pro's pro and very solid. However, there you have it, guys. My top 10 from start to finish is Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Kyle Pitts, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Rashawn Slater, Trey Lance, and Patrick Surtain. Man. What a crazy draft, man. I think, like I told you, I gave you at least 3 to 4 teams that have potential trades and what they could do, because it's not that they don't need to pick somebody up there. It's just the fact that the position that they need is very deep when it comes to the Broncos, the Panthers, or maybe even the Dolphins or guys like that. You know what I'm saying? There's certain teams, or the Lions, excuse me, that can trade back because what they need is pretty deep, or it's not that good to be drafted that high. So I think it'll be a crazy, crazy night. Well, a couple of nights. And it's going to be a couple weeks away, guys. So let me know down below in the comments if you think I was way off base with my thinking on some of these picks. Do you think I'm spot on? Or do you think I need to go back to the drawing board? And like I said, I will be doing a couple more of these mock drafts before the draft. I'm cramming them in, guys. I'm a procrastinator. And so I finally got the monkey off my back and got my mock draft in there. So let me know down below in the comments what you think about it. But without further ado, make sure you guys are subscribed, because like I said, this is Aaron Duncan with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. I'm bringing these videos and I'm bringing this high heat. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But without further ado, I'm signing off. I'll see you next time. Peace.